And how are you all? I hope you all are well. So welcome back. Before starting today's video, I would like to say something. I would like to thank you all for giving me such a support and lot of motivation I'm getting from your support and the love which you are showing to my videos. So please keep supporting me like this. It helped me a lot and it motivates me a lot. Okay, so let's start today's topic. Now, in the previous video, we have discussed about chemical reaction and equations, that is from grade 10. Now today we will be continuing the same chapter, and today we are going to discuss about the balancing of the chemical equation. In the previous video, we have seen that how we can write the chemical equation, what are reactants, what are products. Now we are going to see that why balancing of the chemical equation is required and how we can balance it. Now when we say balancing of the chemical equation, here we have to follow a law which is known as law of conservation of mass, which you did in grade 9. Okay, so according to law of conservation of mass, the total mass of the reactant and the total mass of the product should come same. Okay, that is the mass of the reactant and the mass of the product should come same. So in order to have the same mass of the product and same mass of the reactant, we should balance the equations, that is chemical equations, which we are going to write. Okay, so let's see how we can balance the chemical equation. Before I start, I want to tell you something, that for balancing of a chemical equation, there are two methods which we can use and it will give you a definite answer, but that is not in your syllabus right now, that is in grade 11. So for balancing the chemical equation for grade 10, we are going to use some journal method. Okay, so I am going to give you some tricks. Let's see how much it is helpful. So let's start. Now, first equation we have here, CH4, known as methane, is reacting with the oxygen gas and we are getting carbon dioxide and water molecule. Okay, so this is the equation. This is the chemical equation. That is, our reactants are methane and oxygen, and carbon dioxide and water are the product. Let's see whether it is balanced or not first. Okay, for first equation we can do like this, so you will be having the idea also. Now if you calculate the molecular mass, I hope you all know how to calculate molecular mass. So by using the atomic masses of the element present in a compound, we can calculate the molecular mass of a compound. So just calculate the molecular mass of the CH4 here. It will be 16, like 12 plus 4. Carbon is having mass of 12 unit and hydrogen is having 1 and 4 hydrogen are there, so it will be 16. Let's take it as gram, 16 gram. Now oxygen will be having the mass 32 gram. Okay, so the total mass of the reactant here coming equivalent to 48 gram. Okay, now let's see that whether the product mass is same or not. Now product, we have carbon dioxide. When we take the molecular mass of carbon dioxide, that is 12 plus 32, it will be coming 44 gram. Okay, and then we will be taking the mass of the water molecule also, that is 2 plus 16 coming 18. So when we calculate the mass here, it is coming 62. What it shows that that equation is not balanced. That is, the total mass of the reactant is not coming equivalent to the total mass of the product, because it should follow law of conservation of mass. So that it means that equation is not balanced. When you are going to balance any chemical equation, the question will be like that, you have to balance the chemical equation. So no need to check it. I want to show you that why it is not balanced. That's why I have written it. Okay, so that will give you the idea whether it is balanced or not. Now we are going to balance it. For balancing any chemical equation, we have to use some coefficient 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on, and we can keep that coefficient before the molecule or the element or the compound which is present in a chemical equation. Okay, like now which element we have to balance first, that will help a lot. So whenever you are balancing a chemical equation, try to balance the elements which are other than hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, like first I will check carbon. I want to balance the carbon here because it is other than hydrogen and oxygen. Now how many carbon are here? Only one atom of carbon. And if you see here also on the product side, the atom of the carbon is only 1. So carbon is balanced here. Now we'll see the oxygen and hydrogen only. If you see hydrogen are 4 here, and if you see here, how many hydrogen are there? Only 2. So we will be using a suitable coefficient to balance it. So we can keep 2 over here. Okay, we can keep the coefficient before the molecular compound. So we can keep the coefficient here and balance it. So it become what? 2 into 2, that is, coefficient is going to be a multiple of all the elements if present in whatever is present in a compound or a molecule. So hydrogen become 4 now. Okay, so it become multiple of this. Now this coefficient will also become multiple of oxygen. So now oxygen also become 2. Now here, if you see on the reactant side, the oxygen is already 2, but on the product side, oxygen is now 2 plus 2 now become 4. So we need to balance oxygen here also. So we'll be keeping 2 here as a coefficient. So now oxygen is also balanced. Okay, you can check your equation by calculating their masses, whether the total mass of the reactant and product is coming same or not. Like I can write it here 16 again because there is no change here, but here there is a change. Now before that it was 32, now multiple of 32 with 2 become 64. So now the total mass become 80 on the reactant side. Okay, now on the other side, if you see, there is no change on carbon dioxide, so it remain 44, but on water it is a multiple of 2. So it means here it is 44, but here it is 2 into 18, that become 36, and if you take the sum it is coming 80. So you can see the reactant mass is coming equivalent to the product mass. It means the equation is totally balanced now. Okay, if you want to check, you can check it like this, or else you can check the number of atoms like carbon 1, hydrogen 4, oxygen 4, oxygen 4. Okay, 2 plus 2. So that is how we can balance the chemical equation. We are going to see some more examples, like the next one, zinc plus HCl, that is zinc metal is reacting with hydrogen chloride, giving you zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. Okay, now zinc, as I have told you, that try to balance all those elements which are other than hydrogen and oxygen first. So here we see zinc first. Zinc is already balanced as there are one atom only. When you see chlorine, here is only one atom, but there the chlorine is having 2 atoms. So we will be balancing the chlorine by putting coefficient 2 here. So the chlorine become 2, and here it is also 2. Now it is balanced. If you see hydrogen, hydrogen is 2 here and hydrogen is 2 here. So now it is already balanced, so no need to balance it. So that is how you can balance this equation. So one more equation get balanced. Let's move to the next equation. That is equation number 3. In this equation, calcium hydroxide is there, phosphoric acid is there, calcium phosphate is there, and water is there. So this is the chemical equation. That is calcium hydroxide reacting with the phosphoric acid to give calcium phosphate and water molecule. So first we try to balance what? Elements other than hydrogen and oxygen. Calcium. Calcium is 1 here and here it is 3. So we will be putting 3 over here to balance the calcium. Okay, calcium is balanced. Now we move to the other elements. So phosphorus is there. Here the phosphorus whole twice is there. It means phosphorus is 2, but here phosphorus is only 1. So we will be putting coefficient 2 to balance phosphorus. Okay, so phosphorus is also balanced. Now what is left? Only oxygen and hydrogen. So let's see hydrogen. Hydrogen on this side 3 and 2 here. So 3 into 2 multiple of 2 becomes 6. So hydrogen number is getting 6 here. 2 into 3 6 here also. So 6 plus 6, hydrogen become 12 on this side. On this side hydrogen is only 2. So we can keep coefficient 6 over here to balance hydrogen. So hydrogen become 12. Okay. Now what is left? Oxygen. Let's check oxygen. Oxygen is also 2. Multiple of 3 becomes 6. 2, 4, 8. So total 8 plus 6 become 14. Okay. 2 into 4 8 and 3 into 2 6. So 6 plus 8 total 14 atoms of oxygen on the reactant side. Now product side 2 into 4 8 and 6, again we have put that 6 to balance hydrogen, but it will become multiple of oxygen also. So 2 into 4 8, 8 plus 6 14. So oxygen is already balanced, so no need to balance it. So you can see if you balance the element other than hydrogen and oxygen first, maybe sometime you no need to balance the oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, so that's a trick we can use. Then we move to the next part, that is D part. Here ferric chloride is there, FeCl3, ferric chloride is there, and it is reacting with ammonium hydroxide to give you ferric hydroxide plus ammonium chloride. Okay, you can say that it's kind of a double decomposition reaction also. Now if you see ferric chloride, iron is how many? 1, and here also it is 1, because we have to balance element other than hydrogen and oxygen first. Iron is already balanced, no need to balance it. Chlorine 3, here chlorine are 1. So we need to balance chlorine by putting coefficient 3. Okay, so now chlorine also become 3. Now let's see nitrogen. Nitrogen is 1 here, but when we put 3 here, nitrogen become 3. So we need to put 3 here also to balance the nitrogen atom. Now we move to the oxygen and hydrogen. So let's check hydrogen first. Hydrogen here 4 plus 1, total 5. 5 multiplier of 3, we have put the coefficient 3 here, so it become 15. 15 hydrogen. Let's see here, 3 hydrogen here, and 3 into 4, 12, 12 plus 3, 15. So hydrogen is already balanced. Okay, so no need to put any coefficient down. You can check oxygen. Oxygen become multiple of 3 this coefficient, so it become 3, and here it is also 3, so no need to balance oxygen also. So you can see, if you balance element other than hydrogen and oxygen, other elements most of the time, not always, most of the time, no need to balance the oxygen and hydrogen. One more important thing, when you are putting coefficients, sometime it may happen that you have to make rearrangement also. It's not necessary that always whenever you have put the coefficient, so it is not going to change. Sometime when you are putting one coefficient here and on other side there may be a change, so you have to again change that coefficient. That may also happen, we will see in the coming equations. Okay, so that is how this equation, which was looking difficult, become easy to balance. Now let's move to the other one, sulfur S8 reacting with F2. Sulfur exists as S8 or S6 molecular form. So here we have used S8. S8 is reacting with the fluorine gas and giving you sulfur hexafluoride, SF6, sulfur hexafluoride. So sulfur is 8 here, so we have to balance sulfur first. So we will be putting 8 here to balance sulfur. Okay, so now 8, when you are putting 8 coefficient here, it will be the multiple of fluorine also, so it become 48. 8 into 6, 48. So we have to put one coefficient here also to balance the fluorine. So it's very easy, you have to put 24 here, multiple of 24 with 2 means 48. So that is how this is a very easy equation. Let's move to the other equation. C2H6, which is known as ethane, reacting with the oxygen, giving you carbon dioxide and water molecule. Okay, now in this equation, first we balance carbon because it is other than hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon is 2 here, and here it is only 1. So we'll put 2 here. Okay, so carbon is balanced. Let's see hydrogen. Hydrogen is 6 here, and here it is 2. So we'll put one more coefficient 3 here to balance hydrogen, because 3 into 2 become 6. Now check oxygen. Oxygen, when you check, it become 2 into 2, 4, and plus 3. 2 into 2, 4 plus 3 become 7. Now oxygen is 7, but here it is 2, and there is no other oxygen. So how to balance oxygen here, because here oxygen is coming in a odd number. So we cannot use any coefficient or simplest coefficient to multiply it and get the answer. So how to make it 7? So what trick we can use? We can write a fractional form here to balance it. I am showing you. Like I will put 7 by 2. This is not the permanent coefficient here. I am using a temporary one to solve the equation. How you will see? When I will put 7 by 2, 2 will be cancelled and 7 will remain here. It means oxygen becomes 7. But we cannot use the coefficient in the fractional form. So what we can do now, we will be multiplying a whole equation, that is on the reactant side and on the product side, with such a value so that this 2 can be cancelled. So how can we cancel the 2? By multiplying the whole equation with 2. You understand that what we have done? We have find that oxygen is 7 here. So how to make this O2 into 7, or the even number into the odd number? We have used a fractional form. When we use fractional form, we cannot write it. So we have to remove this denominator. So for that, we have to multiply the whole equation with such a value so that it can be cancelled easily. Okay, so we multiply the whole equation with 2. Okay, so when you do so, what is going to happen? A new equation will arise, that is 2C2H6. 2 will be cancelled, so it becomes 7O2, and 2 into 2 become 4 CO2 and it becomes 6 H2O. Now you can calculate carbon become 4, 4, hydrogen become 12, 6 into 2 12, oxygen 14, 4 into 2 8, 6 plus 8 14. So now it's a balanced chemical equation. That's why I was saying that when you are putting coefficient it may not be certain. Sometimes you have to make changes like this. Okay, so that's a kind of a trick you can use if it's coming in a fractional the value is coming on one side in the even form and another side in the odd form. Okay, so let's move to the last equation which we are going to balance today. So aluminium carbonate reacting with the phosphoric acid and you are getting aluminium phosphate plus carbon dioxide and water. So let's check aluminium. Already you can see 2 aluminium atom. So we will put 2 over here. Aluminium is balanced. Now we'll see the carbon is 3 here and here it is only 1, so we'll put 3 here. Now you can see phosphorus because it is other than hydrogen and oxygen. Phosphorus is 1 here, but when we put 2 coefficient here, phosphorus become 2 here, so I will put 2 here to balance phosphorus. Understood? Let's check now hydrogen. If you check hydrogen, 2 into 3 becomes 6, but here hydrogen is only 2, so we can put 3 coefficient to balance hydrogen, so it becomes 6. Now what is left? Oxygen. Oxygen 3 into 3 9, then 2 into 4 8, 9 plus 8 17. Now on other side 2 into 4 8, 3 into 2 6, 8 plus 6 14 and multiple of 3 plus 14 plus 3 17. So oxygen is already balanced. So you can see that when we have balanced element other than hydrogen and oxygen first, sometime we no need to balance the oxygen or maybe hydrogen. Okay, and the whole equation get balanced easily. Okay, so first try to balance element other than hydrogen and oxygen, then hydrogen and then oxygen in the last. Okay, so that is how we can balance chemical equation, you can see. Okay, so that is, you have to practice a lot. Like you can use any chemical equation and try to balance like that. Okay, so now we are going to study about the one more important topic, rancidity and corrosion. There are 2 topics in this chapter which are left. Actually corrosion I am not discussing right now because it is in the another chapter of your course, that is metals and non-metals. So in that chapter we are going to discuss corrosion, not here, because the reactivity series and many other things are there only. So we'll be discussing that there. Okay, so not now we are discussing, only we are going to discuss rancidity. So students, now we are going to discuss the very important topic, the last part of this chapter, that is rancidity. So what is the meaning of this rancidity? I will give you one example. Sometime we used to go and buy the chips packets and then we used to say, why there is lot of air in this chips packet? Why they used to fill this chips packet with air? They are giving little bit amount of chips and lot of air is present inside. But actually that is for our benefit. Why? Because what happen, sometimes the packed food which are containing the lipids or fats or oil, in such food items, due to the presence of oxygen, okay, it start getting oxidized. The food start getting oxidized, and when it start getting oxidized, it become unfit for the consumption purpose. Okay, it become like a poison for us. Okay, that is, and it will be having a foul smell. Okay, so we are not able to eat such things, and that is not good for us to eat such things. Okay, so in those chips packets, the air which is filled is not oxygen, basically it's a air, a kind of an inert gas which prevent that oxidation of food. So all those packed food which is containing the lipids and fats, they may get oxidized and give the foul smell. Okay, and become poisonous for us, or you can say they become unfit for the consumption purpose. So such foods item which get oxidized and become unfit for the consumption purpose are known as rancid. They are known as rancid, and the phenomena is known as rancidity. Okay, so the phenomena is known as rancidity. Packed or the oil, the food containing the oil, when get oxidized, become unfit for the consumption purpose, those foods are known as rancid, and the phenomena is known as rancidity. So the question arises, how to prevent this rancidity? So we can prevent the rancidity by using these method. Like you can use antioxidant, like oxidation is there, so you want to slow down the oxidation, you want to prevent oxidation. How can you prevent? You can use antioxidant. Okay, like antioxidant, I can give you some examples. Like you can use the lemon juice, okay, that's contain the ascorbic acid. Lemon juice contain ascorbic acid, which slow down the process of oxidation. Ascorbic acid is also known as vitamin C. Okay, so that prevents or slow down the oxidation. Some more examples are there, like chemicals we use, like BHA. We use say BHA. So BHA, you have seen maybe sometime in the food items it was written there BHA is added. So that BHA is basically the antioxidant. What is the meaning of this BHA? It is butylated hydroxy anisole. So it's a chemical. Okay, so that can be added in the food and it can prevent the oxidation or slow down the oxidation process. So that is one method. Then another method is refrigerate the food. If you refrigerate the food, then it will prevent certainly the oxidation of food, or it will slow down the oxidation of the food. Then use airtight container. We used to say that airtight container is there. So airtight means that air is not getting inside when we are keeping the food items there. So it will slow down the oxidation again or prevent the oxidation for a longer period. Then you can replace oxygen gas with inert gas, like I have given the example before starting the topic. So that inert gas means the gas which will be not reactive at room temperature. Like oxygen is reactive at room temperature, so it can oxidize, but nitrogen, such an example, it's an inert gas at room temperature, so it will not react with food and will prevent oxidation of food. So when we have those chips packets, like, so why in those chips packet basically the nitrogen gas is filled because it will prevent its oxidation. One question used to come in the board examination, that why nitrogen gas is filled in the chips packets, or which gas is filled in the chips packet and why it is fixed like that. So it is filled because it will prevent rancidity, that is it will prevent oxidation of food and will protect the food for the longer period. So that is about rancidity and the methods to prevent rancidity. So now this chapter is finished. About corrosion I have already discussed, that I will be discussing in the chapter metals and non-metals, so we'll be discussing there also. Okay, so that's it for today. So again I want to thank you all for giving me a lot of support. So keep supporting me, motivating me, and like my channel, subscribe it and share it to the maximum. Okay, so see you in the next video.